Welcome to Bryno's Brews, the show where I drink and evaluate the wonderful nectar of the gods that is beer. And the beer that we are reviewing today is another one from my local brewery, Warped Wing, or one of the many local breweries, but the biggest one in town, Warped Wing. It is part of their Vintage 2019 series. It is Baltic Argonaut, not just anyone though. It's the Baltic Porter, aged in Tennessee whiskey barrels. And this one weighs in at 11.5% alcohol by volume. So pretty heavy, but not surprising given that it's one of their vintage series and that it's aged in whiskey barrels, Tennessee whiskey barrels, I should say. Now for this review, I'm going to go back to my old system of reviewing this beer analytically based on 5 different criteria. Well, if you forgot how that scoring system works, or if you're new to the show, let's go over that real quick.
Scoring for Bryno's Brews is based loosely on the scoring system used by the Beer Judge Certification Program. In our system, a beer can earn a maximum of 10 points. 1 point can be awarded for appearance, 2 points for aroma, 4 points for flavor, 1 point for mouthfeel, and 2 points can be awarded for a beer's overall impression. And finally, partial points can be awarded in any category.
So that's how scoring works. So let's put this special version of Baltic Argonaut to the test. First things first, let's pop it open using my wine opener, even though it's not wine. I did actually chill this in a wine chiller the place where I bought it. So now here comes the pour. And again, 1 point for appearance. So let's start. Try to get a bit of a head here. It's harder to get ahead with these heavier beers. But I got a nice one. I'm getting a whiff of the aroma, right? I can smell the liquor on it. Looks very clear, very, very dark. Glasses off, can't see through it. Which I expect from a super, super dark, strong porter like this. Head doesn't last for too long, but again, that's sort of typical of these special kinds of beers. Let's stick around for a little bit though, so you know what, let me think. I think out of a possible 1 point for the appearance, I'm going to give it 0.9. I like it that much. And now, 2 points for the aroma. I got a good whiff of the aroma as I was pouring it, so let's get some now. Oh, yep. Wow. The smell is unlike anything. Definitely doesn't smell like a normal porter or a normal malty, dark, heavy beer, but I'm guessing the oak and the Tennessee whiskey, it obviously gives it the type of aroma that gets in. The aroma of Tennessee whiskey is something that you can't really mistake for anything else. The more I smell it, the more I like it. So I think it's decent. So I think of a possible 2 points for aroma. I'm going to give it 1.6. And now the moment of truth, 4 points for flavor. Let's not waste any time. Bottoms up. I don't want to. I'm feeling a little bit of burn, but that's for mouthfeel later. But maybe my nose is numb from smelling it so much. The flavor is very, very interesting. When you think Tennessee whiskey, you think Jack Daniels, obviously, and stuff like that. But I'm not getting too much of a hint of this. Just maybe this in the smallest way. Maybe it's the barrels, I don't know. I definitely get the porter though, but I'm not getting the type of. I think maybe the liquor and the Baltic Porter. Well, the Baltic Porter, the traditional Baltic Argonaut, has been on the smoky side. I think it's a smoked porter, but any Warped Wing aficionados can correct me in the comments. I'm not getting a whole lot of that here. Given what it's advertising, I'm going to say it's kind of okay. I'm not getting a whole lot that reminds me of Tennessee whiskey, though. It's very, very fine. It's very good, but I can't in full confidence give it the full score. So I'm thinking out of 4 points for flavor. Right now I'm sitting on a 3. Let me try one more time. Yep. For that beer to get any higher than a 3, it'd have to be something where I would want to drink it over and over again despite the cost and despite my sobriety, or lack thereof. And I'm not really getting that with this. I mean, granted, I did have to buy it warm and I did chill it beforehand enough, but that really, it doesn't taste good enough to me where I would drink it nonstop or drink it easily or want to have more. I can't get it where I can't get enough of it. So with that in mind, I think, you know what, maybe not even a 3, maybe a 2.9. Next, 1 point for the mouthfeel. Here we go. I am getting a bit of an alcohol burn with this, but to be expected from an 11.5% beer. And as is typical with the vintage, like specialties beers like this, the carbonation is not really high. And again, I expect that. I want just a little bit of carbonation, just something to just satisfy the tongue, just something to stimulate my mouth a bit. I don't expect it to be fully carbonated like beers that you would buy off the shelf. I mean, that's not what this beer is about. But I want just a little bit of something. So I'm thinking out of a possible 1 point, plus given the alcohol burn, but I mean, with other types of beers that's aged in these types of barrels, I mean, yeah, you would get the flavor of that stuff. You get the flavor of the liquor, you get the flavor of the oak, you get the flavor of everything, but it would be balanced to the point where it's not, it doesn't burninate in your mouth with liquor. I'm getting that a little bit here. So what I'm thinking for mouthfeel out of a possible 1 point, I'm thinking 0.65. Finally, overall. I don't want to say I was disappointed by this, or maybe it's not cold enough for me, I don't know, but I kind of had higher hopes for something like this. I mean, what I think, to me, I mean, maybe it's just because it's the first one I had, but I think of a perfect liquor-based beer. I mean, obviously the go-to one around here is the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale. I mean, but they found ways to just make that match and work just so perfectly. And I think this is heading in that direction, but I just think maybe the alcohol content is too high to really appreciate that kind of flavor. I mean, I know big beers are a thing, but the more I drink, the more I'm thinking maybe it's possible for a beer to be too big. And I would say this beer might definitely be too big. So I'm thinking now, but it's still not a bad tasting beer. I mean, I would definitely say try it once if big beers like this and liquor beers are your thing, or if you're a fan of whiskey and beer. This is definitely a sipping beer. It's definitely not a chugging beer. I mean, you would never chug a craft beer like this, or an exquisite beer like this anyway. But overall, 2 points for the overall impression. I'm thinking 1.5. I have done the math, and out of a possible 10 points, Baltic Argonaut, aged in Tennessee whiskey barrels, got a final score of 7.55. I'd say that's very disappointing, given that this was a $10 bottle, and given that it was one of Ort Wing's vintage series. I'm usually a fan of porters and darker beers, but I think the whiskey, I don't want to say the whiskey ruined it, but I think where it failed ultimately, I said before, I think this beer is too big. 11.5 minutes might be too much to really enjoy the flavor of the beer and the whiskey and all the flavors and such. So if there was a way that they could sort of tone that down a little bit, this might have gotten a bit of a higher score. Well, that'll do it for another episode of Bryno's Brews here on Bryno's World. Thank you very much for watching. If you got any ideas for beers I can review on the show or anything else I can do on the channel, please leave a comment down below or hit me up on social media. Otherwise, don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, thanks for watching, and have yourself a good one.